Hi, I'm Sharon. I am the owner of Tulip Tree Miniatures on Etsy. This is my first dollhouse project, and this is my first video for my Tulip Tree Miniatures YouTube channel. My goal for this channel is to take you along while I finish this dollhouse, which I did build from a kit. We'll talk about that in a minute. And take you along on my learning journey as I learn the ins and outs of finishing a dollhouse and making all sorts of miniatures and running a successful Etsy shop. And also learning how to deal with social media, which I do not love, but I'm just so excited about this hobby and the things that I've been learning to do. And I just, I wanted to share it and see if anybody wanted to come along on the journey with me and maybe do some creations and learning of your own along the way. So to begin with, let me introduce you to my dollhouse. Also, let me introduce you to my shop helpers. This is Milo. Milo is a Cavachon who's in need of a haircut. That's coming up next week. He's my love. This is Penny. She's our COVID puppy. She's a handful. Yep. Okay, say hello. And this is my dollhouse. All right, so this dollhouse is from a kit. It's from the Real Good Toys Company New Haven kit. Excuse me, Newport kit. I get these mixed up. I'm going to get them mixed up forever. This kit is the Newport kit. This is the original design for this house. It was eventually replaced with the New Haven kit, and in a minute I will show you the difference between those two kits. So as you can see, I've got this house built. I have some additions on it, which I will talk to you about. This is the main structure. I have finishing work to do on the outside. Obviously, there are a lot more windows to do. I have not put in the porch railings or the the widow walk railings, which would go up here. All of those things. All of these edges need to be finished. So there's a lot to do. I've picked out a front door, but I haven't installed it yet. But yeah, that's where I am so far with this. So let me show you the two kits and compare the difference. Milo, you're not being helpful. Shh. So this is the Newport house on the outside, which is the one that I purchased. This is the New Haven kit that is now for sale. And they're really very similar. This one is shown with a black roof instead of the brown shingle roof. I think the windows are the same. It's hard to tell in that first photo. They're not very clear. And you'll see on my house that I replaced the windows with something different. And then in my kit, the door is here and the window's there. And in the newer kit, and they've swapped those two things. And the reason is that in my kit, the stairs were on the left, all right? And they came up here. And in my kit, there were these two little blinder walls dividing there, which I've left out. You'll see that in a minute. And so the front door is behind the stairs. Okay, and then that leaves these ridiculously narrow hallways. They just, in real life, those hallways would be about 18 inches wide. It's crazy. Here's what they've done with the new layout. The door is now here, which probably just looks a little more pleasing. The hallways are in the middle. They're a little bit bigger. We've got 3 hallways here. There's this sort of creepy little room here. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Maybe a closet or a bathroom or something. They've got the blind walls in both of these rooms here. And you'll also see that in both of these kits, if you look at where this little attic room is here, in the first kit, in my kit, that is closed on all 4 sides. Here's the window in the front, and it's set at the front of the house. In the later kit, it's still set at the front of the house, but the back of it is left open. So what I chose to do with mine is leave the back wall off, but let's go over to my house. I set that top piece at the back of this flat platform instead of in the front, so that I could actually kind of use it for a space. Now, let's go around my house. Pause for a minute to turn on the lights. Okay. Is it plugged in? Right, all right. So we've got some lights there. So here is the central part of my house. And you can see I left out those little partitions. I'm just gonna make 2 big rooms there. And I do still have this very narrow hallway up here, and I am going to have a stairway going up here. I actually just picked out sort of a, it's a less finished stair. It's something like this, which I'm going to use there. And my thinking is kind of, you know, like houses are not perfect. I'm going to have to do a little bit of finagling to get that to fit. Houses are not perfect, and probably these rooms were originally attics, and then maybe at some point somebody said, hey, let's figure out how to make use of this floor. We'll put in a stairway that's slightly more permanent, and you know, so we've got a kind of a narrow hallway up here, but it's manageable. This will be a maid's room. There's going to be just sort of a housekeeper living here. We had this weird setup where there's a door going into a bathroom and then a door going out of the bathroom into what's probably going to be like a girl's room, a girl's bedroom. You know, not a perfect setup, but the way I envision this house is it's something that has probably been around for a fairly long time. It's been in the dollhouse family for many generations, and it has been adapted a little bit. And so is this a perfect setup? No, not really. But, you know, it might be something that people would do in a less than perfect setup when they needed more space. As you can see, I have started to do some finishing in this bathroom up here because I just couldn't help myself. I just wanted to get going on that. So this, I finished off with kind of a rough wooden floor. It's made of popsicle sticks. That's something that I will go over in another video. And I made kind of you know, worn finished shiplap thing in here. And this will be used as sort of an attic storage space. Okay, so there we go. All right, now down to the main floor. There are some walls that were a little bit flexible. There were some additional partitions in the house that some of them were fixed. Some of them were where like this one right here. This one had to be here. There was no choice. But some of them, I believe this one and maybe this one, were movable. So I moved this a little bit, divided this space so that I now have a hallway here with a window. This will be another bathroom. And then I had a very good friend cut a hole here so that I could put stairs here. So my stairs will be going up. There are 2 doorways here, but I've checked, and the stairs will be able to go up there. They may just slightly cut off the corner of this door, but that's really not going to be a problem. You won't see it. It's behind the stairs anyway. And, you know, and I still have space for this to be a little bit of a room. This will be an entrance hall. And then, you know, we have some other rooms here. Now, I did have a doorway cut. This doorway, I think, was not original. No, that doorway was original. These doorways, I cut. Excuse me, it's allergy season, I'm sorry. So these doorways I cut because I wanted to have additions on my dollhouse, and I wanted to be able to have my dolls access those additions. So this is the outside, and this is the inside of the addition. And I did in the end buy 3 of these from Real Good Toys. I had to make some minor adjustments to them to fit the old style house. It was just a matter of making this, putting a shim on here to make this slightly higher. And when I first put these, let me bring you back over here. When I first put these on my house, this was flush, so this did not bump out in the front. You can see the white part. That's where the original was. And, you know, I loved that. But then I bought a bed. Let me get my bed for you. So I bought a bed for one of these rooms, and I put it, in this room. Now remember, the room ended where this white space is right here, okay? And it just felt so crowded to me. I thought, I don't even know where to put that bed so that I can put a dresser or a wardrobe in there. It just felt so tight, and I really wasn't very happy with how tight and small that room felt. When, it might have been fine if I put a single bed in there, but I really wanted this to be the grandparents' room with a double bed, and then the one on the other side to be the parents' room with a double bed. It just felt way too small. So in the end, I bought a third kit and had my good friend who's handy with a saw cut it up for me. So what I did, you can see that this wall here is an angled wall. And I used that. I had him, the edges were angled, but I had him straighten off the edges. So this is now, sorry about that. This is now a nice flat edge. And so I had him cut those to be here. Then I had him take the other window wall and cut out the middle of it so that it matched these, so that I had two windows on the other side. And my vision for this, because these windows are facing in toward the house, is that they maybe sort of face a courtyard. And maybe at some point I'll actually build a little courtyard and decorate it with garden furniture and things. And then the remaining wall we cut up to make these, to extend this wall here. So we had that. And then we cut the floors and the base and everything. So I brought all of this out. It's about a 4-inch addition, which would add about 4 feet in real life to the room. And I love this now. I was a little concerned that it might feel weird if I was working in the middle of the house, like to have these extensions on the side, but they're great. They don't bother me at all. I don't find them intrusive. I don't find it difficult to view the house with those, and they just give me that little bit of extra room to play. So I really love that I did that. Kit bashing is apparently quite a thing in the dollhouse community. That was a term I learned later after I bashed this kit thoroughly. Okay, so what else? So I had the doorways cut. You can see this pink and blue tape running here. This is a electric wiring kit system, and I'm very fortunate to live in Massachusetts, which is about about a 2-hour drive from Amherst, New Hampshire, where there is an amazing dollhouse shop. It's called Tulip Tree Miniatures, and one of the things that they do is you can sign up, you haul your dollhouse up there, and you can sign up for a class, and they'll spend 5 or 6 hours with you one-on-one for a fee, but I thought it was an extremely reasonable fee to help you wire your house. So I had not actually added these front additions before I did the wiring, so that came later. But I learned so much in the process of wiring this house that if for any reason I did need to bring wiring into the front part of this house, say I wanted to plug in a lamp here or hang another light in the ceiling or something, I now can do that on my own. I have the skills to do that. And you can see I've added a little bit of lighting so far. I love the pattern these bathroom lights throw on the ceiling. Is that so cool? I've seen a little bit of looks like I got some glue on the ceiling here. So, well, it's unfortunate. We're just going to pretend that doesn't exist. These lights are a little dim, so I'll definitely add some additional lighting in there. Now about my windows. So the windows, go back to the picture. The windows that came with the house were, let's zoom in on that, there we go. They're kind of plain, and they were not working sash windows, they were closed, and you can't really tell in the picture, but these grills were just painted on. It's just painted on acrylic, and I like things in dollhouses that work, or at least appear to work. So let's go back to my house. I found these beautiful windows by Houseworks, and they don't come completely assembled. You have to cut and glue these wood pieces on yourself, so it's quite time consuming, and that's one of the reasons I only have a few windows in, because I can do 1 or 2 windows, so I'm like, okay, I'm over that for now. But I love this hooded thing. My vision for my dollhouse is that I'm setting it in about 1922. And to me what that means is there's not supposed to be anything in my house that comes after 1922. Electricity did exist at that point, and lots of people still didn't have it, but this is a pretty big house. This is a family with, you know, a decent amount of money. They're not super wealthy, but they have a housekeeper, and they have a lot of space, and the house is inherited, and so at some point they wired it. Now, is this design authentically 1922? I doubt it. But we don't all have 2020 houses right now. We don't all have the latest trend. And lots of people love older things. I think that this style probably did exist before 1922, as far as I can tell. I do try to research these things. And this family liked it, and so they used it. So that's what's going on with my windows there. Okay, now I'm really proud of this up here. So the windows that were for these two attic rooms, and I can't remember what kind of roof this is. Somebody tell me what this roof is called. The windows that were intended to go in here were an odd size in the kit, and I could not find anything. I could find these hoods sold separately, so I knew I could adapt a window, but I could not find a window to fit these openings. So I did finally find this plain working sash attic window. This one's sticking a little bit. So, I'm not going to force that because I don't want to break it for that sash is sticking a little bit. Doesn't have the window sills like the bigger ones do, but that's okay because, you know, it's attic windows. And what I had to do was I had to rebuild these dormers. So I used the pieces that it came with, but I had to cut them down to size. I had to make these openings smaller, and unfortunately you can't really see that patchwork inside anymore because I have papered these rooms. I had to redo this angle up here, so I had to recut these pieces to fit and then figure out how to finish the roof. And that was challenging, and I'm really proud of myself that I was able to figure it out with all those angles and make it come out all right. This room has the regular window, and there's the other one. Okay. The kit came with wood shingles that would have had to be individually dried and glued on, and I was not about that. I wanted to get to the fun stuff. I also really loved this shingling. This I got from Tulip Tree Miniatures in New Hampshire, New Hampshire. If you're ever in New England, if you're not already from New England, you need to go check that out. This shingling comes in, here's a little scrap piece. It comes in these long strips, and it's kind of like a heavy paper with this gritty finish. When you're working with it, you end up with grit everywhere. But I was able to just glue these strips on. And there may be a better way to do this, but what I did was I glued my first strip on upside down because that gave me a finish at the bottom, right? So there's no gapping there. And then I started building up, and I measure everything, make it straight, glue on a strip, tape it down, let it dry. The next time I had time, I glued on another strip. So it literally took me months to finish this roof because even though, you know, Tulip Tree Miniatures is one of my jobs now, I am not able to devote hours and hours a day, and I'm not able to even get to it every day. It's still a startup thing, and I still have to, you know, do other things to keep the bills paid. So I am a piano teacher, you know, on my other days. So one at a time I would glue these, tape them down to make sure they stayed flat, come back and glue another strip until I got to the top. I decided to use quarter cut wood strips painted to match my house on here, and I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. These edges I still need to finish. I've got some ideas about that, and as I said, I still need to put all the railings on. So all those railings, I've got to do them here, and both sides of the addition, and then here. There's a lot of railings. They all have to be painted, and then they have to be cut to size because I'm using railings that come in, you know, these pieces, but this is not an exact match, so I have to figure out how to cut them so they don't look weird, and probably do something. I've got these poles right here that I'll probably have to cut down to size to try to, you know, make sort of a corner piece everywhere. So that's going to take some math, a lot of involvement. So I'll get to that. This is a glittery sort of gritty paint that I also got up at Earth and Tree Miniatures. And very sadly, this company's not making this anymore. I loved this stuff. I bought them out, so I do have enough to finish this edition. I need to do a little bit of filler here and fill in that crack and finish that. I'll probably put another layer on, so I have enough. I do now wish that I had gone with not a sandy goldy color, but something in a gray. So someday I may repaint these blue finishes. I don't know. It's probably not that big a deal, but we'll see. We'll see. You can see my front lights, my carriage lights. Those were the very first lights I ever installed. I did those at the workshop, the private workshop I went to at Earth and Tree Miniatures. I was so excited to have those on there. There will be porch railings and a column and things like that here. There's more Widow's Walk railings to go there. Lots and lots of outside stuff to finish. But when I was working all this, I just couldn't resist the urge to get in and do some decorating. So we have a ceiling paper here. I'm going to clean that off, but honestly, if I'm not shining my camera on there, you really can't see it. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. I have some crown molding that I installed. Getting the miter corners was, such a pain. I did finally figure out a way to deal with that, which I will go over with another video. There's my inside window. I used the trim that came with the window. I wish now that I had not, because I am doing something different in all the other rooms. But I did add that I wanted a windowsill and didn't have one inside, so I created that shelf. And I don't know if you can't really see at this angle, but those are scrollwork brackets, those little black things that I bought from an Etsy shop. And unfortunately, I don't remember which shop it was. But they were little scrollwork pieces that I painted black and used as supports, quote unquote, for the windowsill. The bathroom set, interestingly, this is I'm not sure if it's pronounced Kreisenbahn. I think that's the way it's pronounced. Kreisenbahn or Kreisenbahn. These are kits and they're plastic and you glue everything together. You can paint on them, which I've done. You glue everything together, and I was really skeptical about a plastic bathroom kit. Here's the toilet. But I'm really happy with how it came out. And you know, it wasn't an expensive gamble as furniture for dollhouses go. So I was happy with that. So I painted this kind of a streaky brown on purpose to make it look like wood. And then I painted that handle. And I painted the seat and cover to, again, be the streaky wood. Oh, you can see in the camera how dusty this is. Yeah, come on. A little dust. Time to do some dusting. I painted come on, focus on the faucet here. Painted the faucet. I painted those brackets to be black. My camera doesn't know where to focus here. I'm so sorry. It's very confused right now. I'm just using my cell phone for this, so eventually, I'll learn how to use a real camera for this. I did all this wainscoting. That was a little bit tricky because if you can see the way this is constructed, you can see that, I don't think I can get my hand in there to show you, but there's this corner ridge. If you look just to the left of the window, there's this little piece of the wall that bumps out. So I had to get around that with all of my wainscoting and things. You can kind of see where it's a little bit patched in there. It's not perfectly beautiful, but this was the first room I tried to do anything with. So, I'm not too unhappy with how it came out. I did the trim. This was a vinyl, piece of vinyl. I think it's vinyl coated paper is what it is, but I loved that look. That is very, very 1920s craftsman house kind of thing. And then these doors. Now, love these doors. I've bought several of these, and I've gotten them from a few different sites. And then I bought the handles separately. You can see I've got the key in the lock of this one. Little bronzed plates with crystal knobs, and they're so cute. And the handles are really up high. So I just grabbed my grandma doll This is also an Etsy doll, and an artist who's been making my dolls for me. I save up, and every few months I buy another one, and she does the most beautiful dolls and clothes. Ugh, she does. She has a gallery, but she also does custom dolls, and I will send her pictures and say, you know, I want something like this, and this is kind of the outfit I want. She'll send me pictures of fabric swatches and then make basically what I've asked for. And I think these dolls are just beautiful. But if you look at Grandma, look at how high that doorknob is, almost up to her shoulder. So when I actually got these doors in, and you know, they came slightly in pieces, and I was like, I don't know how this door goes. It didn't make sense to me. And then I got online, did a little research, and I'm not sure if this was so true in the US, but in England definitely, this was a very common doorknob height. You'll see, you know, if you shop for, like, say, Edwardian doors, and a lot of what I'm doing in this house is Edwardian, because I'm imagining that, you know, it was probably, you know, pretty well updated in the Edwardian and then maybe there have been some additional changes since then, like electric lights and wiring, and you know, they're going to have some appliances and a telephone and things that are maybe more modern. So yeah, it was quite common to have the doorknob up that high. So, and I really like the look of it. So that's what I'm going with. All right. I have started doing trim in here and some wainscoting in here. I still need to put the chair rail on. I need to kind of do a little bit of wood fill in my corners. This was really hard because you can see that that back wall is slanted, and trying to miter the corner and get that ceiling molding up there and have that all fit was, it was a nightmare. Same thing with the floor molding. So I did the best I could. It's not a very professional job, I'm telling you. I'm going to be filling in with some wood filler there and putting another coat of paint on, and then hiding it with furniture, and you know, hoping that there's so much else going on in the room that nobody will see how imperfect my crown molding is. You know, and things warp. Like, it's not even there's like, you can see there's a gap up there. Like, nothing's ever straight. But you know what? I live in a real house, and nothing's straight in my house either, and you make do. So this is the trim that I decided to go with the windows. I think it's a very colonial trim, but you know, my dollhouse lady, the lady of the house, she loves this trim, and that's what she's putting in her house. And no, it is not authentic 1920s. It predates that, I'm pretty sure, but she loves it, and that's what she's using, and more power to her. I try to do the same thing. So this floor, this was my first attempt to make my own floor. This is made with popsicle sticks or craft sticks. I cut them all, stained them all, and then I cut a paper template for this floor, and I glued all the popsicle sticks to the paper template and then glued the floor. And that, of course, happened before I put in this floor baseboard molding. I looked up a lot of videos on how to do this, and the gluing this onto some craft paper or template was recommended. Because they said, you know, if you ever need to change your floor, want to change your floor, it'll be easier to remove this if you have the paper layer underneath. I'm going to turn on this extra light here. This is my working task light up here. It's also a magnifying glass, but it gives me great light. I'm not sure that I really love that. I felt like it doesn't really lie very flat. So I'm not sure. I've got boards cut, you know, craft sticks cut for this room and stained, and I'm thinking that I might just measure lines on my floor to make sure I'm staying straight and glue it right on here. I honestly don't really see myself pulling these floors out for any reason. So I just think I'm gonna gamble and just put in the floor there, and see if it makes a difference, if it does come out any straighter. I mean, part of this could be uneven just because it's craft sticks. They're not cut with, you know, highly calibrated precision machinery. And I did, once I installed this, I did sand it quite a bit and put an additional coat of stain and then some finishing varnish on there. And there's still like, you can see there's a piece here that's kind of bumped up a little bit. A little piece here that's kind of raised. But you know, I mean, maybe it's an old floor and it's warped over time. I'm halfway tempted to actually scuff this a little bit in spots once I furnish it to make it just look a little more authentic. I love that look in a house of things, not everything in the house looking brand new. So that's one of my goals for this house, is to have things look a little bit like they've been around for a few generations. They've been cared for, but they've also been used and loved. I had this little divot in the wall up here, which I glued that in. I was like, oh, I got a little chip in the wood. I totally expanded it, and that is where the mouse lives. There will be a mouse in the attic here eventually when I either find or make a mouse. Okay. So down here, I have, this is going to be the grandparents' bedroom. The grandparents live here. There's a marking where I'm going to be putting a light. I actually tried to put in a light there and turned out the light did not work. It was defective, so I had to get a new light. So this is, because there's wiring like this on the ceilings. Let's see if it's coming down a little bit. I'm sticking. I do have to cover my ceilings with something. So this is a paper. Let's see if you can see this one better. You can see it's a textured ceiling paper, which I've bought from, again, a few different sources, including Tulip Tree Miniatures. And I like that. And let's get the light down here so you can see in here better. You can see I started doing my window trim, but not all of it. And I've got my trim up there. I need to do some wood filler in the corner. That was a really tricky angle to deal with. But isn't that a pretty paper? Like that. And that's as far as I've got, excuse me, on decorating the house. I had when I was building, I tried to cut a door that, and realized after I cut it that I cut it so that these milled siding cuts in the house were upside down. So I had to put that back in and fill that and try to fill it on the outside and paint it. So that was annoying. So, that's a thing I learned early on, was check everything multiple times before you cut it, not only for the measure twice, cut once factor, but also, are you doing it on the right side and in the right direction, not upside down? Really, really tricky stuff. So you can see here, actually, here's a spot where I had to splice my wiring because the wiring originally went around to the outside of the house, where the outlet is. I had to tape that because it kept coming out. And so when I added this addition, I had to bring the wiring here because I didn't want the wiring pinched between those two pieces. So I had to splice the wiring there. All right. So that is the house so far. This is all the junk. Things that I've purchased and stuff that are normally sitting in the house because I don't really have anywhere else to put them. I did take them out for this video. Here we go. These are the makeup brushes that I do the dusting with. Little fluffy brushes here, so we'll dust off that. Let's see. So yeah, these are nice, cheap, fluffy makeup brushes, and they are great for sweeping out and dusting the dollhouse, which I probably need to do more regularly. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to stop for today. I will try to link, that's something I have to learn how to do, but I am going to try to link the Tulip Tree Miniatures and the Etsy shop where I get my dolls from. And if I can find records of any of the other things I got. That paper I know was a clearance bin item at some shop somewhere out east. I honestly can't remember. That's really terrible. And this paper was original to the dollhouse kit. It's the only paper I kept. I thought the papers in the kit were hideous. It's like, can you see a little blue stripe there? So I loved that one. This one I think I was on a wish list of mine at some point. My kids got it for me for a birthday or Christmas gift. This may have been the same thing. birthday or Christmas gift from a wish list, so it would be kind of hard for me to track that back and figure out where it came from. A lot of my things do come from Etsy shops. There's so many beautiful miniature Etsy shops. And you know, I'm in stiff competition by opening another one, but I just really wanted to share the things that I'm making. So I will share one piece. Grab that. This is the first thing I ever built on my own, and I am keeping this one, but I do have another similar one in the Etsy shop. I'm also working on one of these in 1/6 scale, which is like the Barbie doll size scale or fashion doll size scale, which will also be going into the shop. So this is made of basswood pieces that I cut. These little hinges. Let's get in here. Here we go. Come in there a little closer. See if we can get this a little closer and still get focus. There we go. There's the hinge that I bought. I've bought hinges from numerous different places for different projects that I'm working on. So, you know, they're a number that you'll eventually see, oh, everybody's got these little hinges too. The corners I used, excuse me, I used sheets of copper that I cut myself and banged around and then tried to sort of dirty up. That was a challenge. This is faux leather strips with little copper pieces that I cut and little nails that I purchased. And then these stickers I found, I think I bought these on Etsy too with a commercial license so that I could use them. And I just cut them out and slapped them on, and you know, I got one peeling and one that's kind of scraped away a little bit. So we have some, they are, I don't think there's any way you can see them clearly in this video, but they are travel stickers to different locations. So let's now see the inside. This is flocked paper that I lined this with. I made a little tray that lifts out. Here we go. And then you can see there's flocked paper inside here. It's a little bit scuffed and dirty in there because, you know, I wanted this trunk to look like, I mean, and honestly, some of the scuffing and things just happens in the process because I'm still learning what I'm doing. But as I say, really, like, I don't want this to look like a brand new trunk, and I deliberately distressed the corners a little bit because, you know, the bottom, because this trunk has traveled, it's been places, it's seen some things, and that's what I wanted. I wanted it to look like it's been used and loved. So that's what that is. Now, I really wish that I had started doing these videos as soon as I got the kit. This kit, by the way, on eBay, it had not been opened. Someone had bought it years ago with the intention of building the house. Never got around to it. It was clearing out, and I was able to get it for about $250, which is an incredible price. I spent way more buying 3 editions because those were $125 each. Don't tell my husband. But, you know, I have a monthly allowance that I save up to do these things with, so that was it. You know, as I say, I do wish that I had started doing these videos as soon as I got the kit and could have taken you through the whole process of the build. But I didn't realize how much I was going to get into this and where it was going to take me, and I don't know where it's going to take me yet. I have an awful lot to learn about doing videos, using cameras. I've never used video editing, so this video is not going to be edited much because that's going to be something that I just really have to spend a lot of time learning and trying to get a grip on. But I hope that you found this a little bit interesting, maybe a little bit inspiring. And I hope that you'll follow along with me as I keep working on Tulip Tree Manor, named for my shop. Let's see where this goes. I'm looking forward to it. Bye-bye. I found on
on that.